Welcome to the Wrestling Fan, the Wrestling Show. I'm the big beefy boy, Shaz Beef, joined by my fellow old buck in Morro. How are you, good sir?
Fantastic.
We're back in the gorilla room.
We're in the gorilla room.
We're going head to head.
We're facing each other. For those of you can't tell on camera, we're facing each other. It's very intense.
We're still trying to figure out the gorilla room.
We haven't a clue what we're doing.
No, we were meant to be down in the office today, but I couldn't get any access to the SSD cards.
Yeah.
So we are here.
We're in the gorilla room.
See, that's why I don't do up clips from the gorilla room, because this fucking camera is the bane of my existence. It looks shit. There's so much grain. There's nothing that I could figure out with it. But
I look good.
You do. You look amazing.
Yeah.
Do you like that little Trend 7 thing behind you?
The 7 data.
Yeah, I fucked up the placement of the towel when I was flipped it over.
Oh, no, it looks good to me.
It's weird, like those weirdos.
Sure, look, it's supposed to be weird.
It's supposed to be
And
weird.
the little run sheet is nice there as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
You're getting the Bruno spot right before the intermission.
I'm telling you, man. Well, anyway, how's the play going?
Fantastic. I'm
Jamie
tearing the
Boswell
house
sent
down.
his apologies that he couldn't make
He
it.
did, yeah, I seen that. Yeah, no, I'm tearing the house down every night. What more would you expect?
Naturally.
Standing ovations every night.
Stand the nose.
Every night.
I think I'm going to go to it next week.
Cool. Yeah, it's good. Good
Yeah, it
play.
should be
Good
fun.
play.
Today's going to be an interesting topic, I think, because it kind of hits upon your love for another sport,
Oh.
but talks about how it somewhat infected wrestling.
Yes.
And I don't know if you'd agree. We're going to talk about the influence of MMA.
The MMA-ification.
The MMA-ification
Yes.
of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's constantly said when you're training or whatever. Going, you don't get away with the like AC cells.
Yeah,
you know, the big.
the rubbery legs and the arms flailing.
Yeah, because people know what a real fight looks like now.
Yeah.
A lot of people have probably never been in a fight, so.
Yeah. Well, like, here's the thing. Everybody's been punched.
Yeah.
Everybody's been kicked.
Yeah. Not everybody, though. Some people haven't.
Everybody's been in a headlock.
Not a proper one, like.
No, but like a schoolyard, you've been in a headlock, like.
Yeah.
So everyone knows what all that shit looks like.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, nobody knows jack shit. I'm talking real fighting and pro wrestling.
But, like, I find it, like, wrestling should simulate, like, real violence or whatever. There's a lot of contrived spots in it, like the Irish whip in itself is ridiculous. The way I frame that in my mind as a kid was that you're going to have a big lug pulling your arm.
Yeah.
And it's going to pull it out of a socket. Jerry Lynn did a great sell against X-Pac, where X-Pac stopped him from doing the Irish whip. He held onto the rope, and Jerry Lynn sold his arm. He he went to whip him, and then it was like, he hyperextended his arm. But on the reverse, if you don't go along with them pulling your arm, in my head, it was you're going to injure yourself.
Yeah.
And the reason why you start running is to help the momentum. And the reason why you turn at the ropes is so you don't give your back to the opponent. You think that you're going to get an advantage of hitting the ropes and you're going to have momentum to hit the person.
Yeah.
And that was my reasoning with it. Because if you look at Dano O'Mahony, like his finishing move is the Irish whip.
Yeah, but it was done it's not the Irish whip that we see.
Yeah, but you think, how was that a move? But he was he did hammer throwing shit.
Yeah.
So that man whipping you via your arm, realistically, would fucking kill you.
It's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, the contrived spots in wrestling, I think there's always some type of sense into it. But I really feel like this legit fighter thing, I think it hampers wrestling.
I would agree to a certain extent.
Okay.
Has there ever been a good I'm a shoot fighter gimmick? No.
I think so. Ken Shamrock?
Was that his gimmick though, or was he the world's most dangerous man?
Yeah, but that stemmed.
It did stem from it, but like there also wasn't this thing of like, well, he's a shoot fighter, so he's real and we're fake.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey kind of did something like that when she came in.
Yeah, but also like it was still a thing of like, it wasn't using the term shoot fighter. The real and fake.
Well, she came out and said, like, I'm a real fighter kind of thing. Wrestling's fake.
Did she
in
actually?
her storyline with Becky or something on Twitter?
Yeah.
On
Twitter, it was on Twitter. It wasn't on screen. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do remember that on Twitter, actually. That was fucking dumb. But, like, you know, you go back to, I suppose, It's just a weird. That whole time is super weird in wrestling. Anyway, when all that shit started to emerge,
Like I know it kind of happened in the late 90s, but in the mid 2000s, I really noticed that. Like I remember being super hyped for Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe at Lockdown 2008. But Kurt Angle came out in like the MMA shorts, and it had like a. It was a fine match. It was different, but like also it wasn't a wrestling. It wasn't. They kind of got into the wrestling stuff, but it was like, oh, we want this to look like a real fight. And you're like, well, you want kind of every match to somewhat look like a real fight, but also have the pageantry of wrestling.
yeah,
Because otherwise, you just have a real fight, and then we'll choose to either watch that or not. The Brawl for All, for example.
well, which was the shittest thing maybe ever on a WWF screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, like it was total dog shit,
so poor.
and nobody wanted to watch it. And the butterbean thing, even afterwards, was total dog shit as well.
Poor Bart Gunn.
But like, there are people who were really good at the worked shoot style of wrestling.
Like, so I was reading a bit into it. A lot of it stemmed from the Snake Pit. This kind of like coming from
Wigan.
Yeah, in Wigan. So the Karl Gotch went and trained in the Snake Pit. Karl Gotch then trained Antonio Inoki and Akira Maeda.
Yeah.
Which then devolved into the New Japan kind of shoot style.
Yeah, strong style, early strong style.
Early strong style. Yeah. Then you had Maeda going off creating the UWF.
Yeah, not to be confused with Bill Watts' UWF.
Yeah,
yeah.
And this kind
actually,
of shoot.
just the story behind that is fucking hilarious.
Well, it was something like he just hated all these fucking
countouts, DQs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a little bit more to it. I'll do a little bit of a John Martin on it here now, history time with John Martin. But around that time, the early 80s, Inoki was caught up in like an embezzlement scandal in New Japan, where he was embezzling money out of the company to prop up his like crappy supplement company that he had on the side, and like he was caught for it, like, you know, but he got his
I go pro.
Yeah, whatever the fuck shit he was flogging, and
because he was getting money off Vince as well
at the time. Yeah,
getting like $500,000 or something.
Yeah,
and
he was getting Hogan over and all this kind of stuff, and then he gets caught. And he gets Shinya, his number 2 guy, Shinya, to take the fall for the embezzlement, like, paid him a fuck ton of money to keep quiet. And this was all coinciding with Maeda and a few of his crew being like, this pro wrestling shit is crap, like, you know, what are we doing here? Audiences hate these non-finishes, blah, blah, blah. So Shinya fucks off with Maeda and all, after getting a big payout from New Japan, taking the fall for Inoki's embezzlement scheme. And they set up the original UWF. And they bring in...
was it UWFI or something?
That came later.
Right.
So you get the original UWF 1984 to... I think it lasted about 2 years.
Was it Maeda that shot on Andre?
No, it was Andre... No, that was Takada, wasn't it?
I don't know.
He got Takada.
That's what I'm wondering.
I think it was Takada.
I'll figure it out. I'm writing something on it at the moment. I just can't remember your man's name.
They start up UWF and they invite in the original Tiger Mask, Sayama, Satoru Sayama. So Sayama had been like all around the world doing lucha in Mexico. He'd been in the Snake Pit in Wigan learning British style wrestling.
Yeah, it was Maeda.
And then
Akira Maeda shot on Andre the Giant.
Now I think the story goes that this is when Maeda. So UWF fails, and Maeda and a good few of them go back to New Japan, and then he sets up UWF. New Honor or New Rising or like another UWF a few years later once he gets pissed off in New Japan again for the second time.
Right.
And
this is 1986 when he shoots on Andre.
So with the Andre thing is...
Sorry, was that part of your story? Or?
Yeah, that's part of the story. So they start working with New Japan again and they start doing this UWF because UWF is fucked. It's bankrupt. It has no money.
In 86? I thought was it did it not span off again?
It came back twice more. So in 86 they're fucked. They start in 84, they're fucked in 86. They go back to New Japan to do this invasion thing. I think that's when the Andre thing happened. Maeda and Inoki had another falling out, and the story goes that Inoki and a few others got Andre drunk and sent him out
to fuck him up.
To fuck up Maeda.
Yeah.
But Maeda was like, you know, was it actually a shoot fighter? And Andre's fucking pissed after drinking 50 cans of beer or whatever.
Yeah.
And Maeda just kicks the living shit out of his legs.
Yeah, really fucks it.
Fucked Andre up. His legs were shot for years afterwards. So that kind of ends around that time, the working relationship between UWF and New Japan again, or it might have like trundled on for a little while, but people weren't happy. So Maeda offshoots again, starts up another UWF, which once again fails within a couple of years. And then Nobuhiko Takada, who was Maeda's number 2, he sets up UWFI. And,
Right.
and Maeda goes off and sets up Rings. You know that Rings one?
Yeah.
And Rings is kind of weird because that was actually shoot fighting, but in like a weird pro wrestling
So
style.
it kind of was Pancreas.
So Pancreas came out of Rings and that as
Like
well.
I
around the same
remember
time.
like Gracie and Sakabura.
Yeah.
That was a big thing back then. And
They
that-
come in and Pride then
Pride,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So Pancras comes out kind of almost like out of Rings or like along parallel with Rings. But early Pancras is really weird because it's supposed to be shoot fighting and Suzuki's there and all this, but there are reports that some matches were worked.
Well, like you look at it's interesting when you look at MMA and boxing, like they took a lot from wrestling. So it's weird how wrestling, particularly
It's a really weird cyclical fucking thing.
Muhammad Ali would credit listening to Gorgeous George, which
Yeah.
is a Vince McMahon favorite. He would listen to, or like Gorgeous George, he would think, oh, I'm gonna like just steal his act.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna-
essentially,
you look at then the boom of MMA, taken out of the dogfighting was the Tough Enough era, when you had like proper feud between Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock. Then
Tito and Chuck.
then you
Former
look at like
teammates.
you look at Chael Sonnen stole his shtick from wrestling.
Totally.
Conor McGregor stole his shtick from wrestling.
He was just 2010's Ric Flair.
They wanted to take away, like they increased the knockout bonuses because George St. Pierre's ground game was boring people, and like they wanted to make it more electric and like wrestling.
Yeah.
And boxing is the same.
And sure, like even like with UWFI with Takada's version, and he was the one who brought in like Gary Albright, who's married into the bloodline. I think he's married to like he's dead.
He's married to Roman Reigns.
Cousin?
No, just Roman Reigns.
He actually married Roman Reigns.
That's one named Joe.
Yeah. And Vader shows up in UWFI, has some fucking sick matches.
That's after his WWF run, is it?
That's before.
Before. Where
Yeah.
does he go after?
Back to All Japan.
Right, that's
And I think he might have done it. No, I think he's just back to All Japan at that stage. That's when he does that brilliant fucking tag league with him and Stan Hansen. Fucking awesome.
I was looking at it. It was weird the way like wrestling in the 80s, you had to be a legitimate tough guy.
Yeah.
But like still, like when you're in the ring, it wasn't. So I was looking at CWF Tales of the Territory. If you ever seen it, was done by Vice, and they were talking about how Eddie Graham and what's his name, Bob Roop and who was it, Hiro Masuda, that fucked up under Hulk Hogan's leg.
Masuda, yeah.
He broke Hulk
He
Hogan's
trained
leg.
Hogan, didn't he?
Yeah, but like they're proper like stretch, and you hear the stories about Stu Hart. Like they're proper stretching and fucking you up.
Yeah,
make
like
sure you're tough enough to do wrestling.
They were all catch guys as well. Like,
Yeah.
they all got like. If you look at like Karl Gotch being like possibly the most influential trainer ever in wrestling, maybe. If you look at the list of guys, or maybe Matsuda either. But like part of that, their mentality was you need to be able to defend the honor of wrestling in real life as well.
Which is so strange. Like, because it started out, that's the way wrestling started out. It was
Yeah.
like the shoe fighting, but it was same way that UFC increased their knockout bonuses. They were like,
we need more pageantry.
yeah, we need more pageantry.
Yeah.
So that's when the carnival started kind of doing the worked fights, and that's how
Well,
it
like,
evolved. But
I
you
look-
still had to have that sense of legitimacy.
Yeah.
And then during the Attitude Era, the New Generation era in particular, maybe, it kind of got watered down and it became more about the entertainment side of things, where it was maybe a bit more, maybe behind the scenes it was more, you still had to have like a level of shootiness about
I think
you.
a lot of it is Vince Jr.
Vincification.
Vincification of wrestling is like, with Hogan on top, and the ultimate pageantry is what kind of, where things kind of deviated.
Yeah.
But like I watched Bockwinkel versus Lou Thez there the other day, Bockwinkel versus Vern Gagne, and I don't think the full match is available, but I got like this 15-20 minute version of Nick Bockwinkel as if he's like talking about it as if it's a real fight over the footage. Really cool. Now, essentially, they work wrist locks for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think the real match goes close to an hour. So like, while they were really skilled in what they were doing, and the wrist locks looked fucking great, and the selling was fantastic, I can't watch an hour of two guys working wrist locks.
Yeah.
Like, that's not why I like wrestling. And like, I'll happily, like, people were giving out when Islam Makhachev beat Jack Della Maddalena for the welterweight title last year. He fucked the shit out of him for 5 rounds, 25 minutes. And I seen people online giving out. I was mesmerised. I thought it was like one of the greatest, most dominant wrestling performances in UFC history.
Yeah, but that's great. Like,
but that's what I'm signing up for with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Keep that there.
Exactly. That's my point.
Like,
I was delighted watching that, but at the same time, if I was turning on a fucking WWE or an AEW pay-per-view and I get two guys working a wrist lock for 25 minutes or some sort of like whatever, I'm going to be like, this is fucking shit. But like, if I'm signing up to watch an Islam Makhachev fight, that's what I expect, and I will enjoy it because I've decided to watch that.
Yeah.
Like
it came in, it was really noticeable in the mid 2000s when UFC was fucking hot.
Yeah, they got real hot
like
there, 04, 05.
Even like The Undertaker.
Gates of Agony, whatever the fuck.
No, but like,
what was the move called?
The Hell's
Gates.
And putting on like the gloves.
Yeah,
the MMA gloves. And you're like,
and like,
you're the fucking Undertaker.
Yeah.
You're not a shoe for, the greatest shooter in the business. And you're like, no, you're a fucking dead man zombie. Yeah, like
literally, I think genuinely that's one of the reasons why I rank Undertaker so much differently than everyone else.
It was like you didn't grasp what your character was.
He couldn't, and he was so shit at it as well. It looked terrible. Like his submission. Oh my god, I hated his worked punches. I hated the fact he was trying to be something that he wasn't. It was like he actually like started to buy into a certain hype of.
But then again, he went on like a generational run. In my opinion, that was his best.
Some of his best in-ring stuff, I would say.
Yeah, but maybe it was because he was working less and less.
And also working with more dynamic people who could work around him.
Yeah.
And look, and at that stage, like, let's be perfectly honest, early 90s Undertaker isn't very good, but he was also very green.
But he was very good at his gimmick.
He was great at his gimmick, but he was very green in ring. Like, still, it took him a long time to get good in ring. And somewhere around like 96, 97, things started to click for him. So by the time you get to the mid-2000s, he's a very, very good in-ring wrestler who started trying to do this style that I just didn't like. And like, the way, like, we've had these arguments before about the WrestleMania 25, 26 Shawn Michaels matches. And a lot of people love those matches. I think they're really good. I just don't think they're all-time great matches. I think that's part of it, is like that whole era of Undertaker for me is like just a thing that I don't really like.
Yeah.
But like I can still like, what year did he have that Kurt Angle match at No Way Out? Was it off?
Yeah, No Way Out was 06.
06. Like, that's a fantastic match as well. Really great match. Like, but at the same time, Undertaker is easily like the lesser worker in that match. You know what I mean? It's Kurt Angle is just unbelievable in that match.
Well, one of my favorite sells in wrestling is I love when like Terry Gordy just does this.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, we're gonna start throwing hands, but he's just like that, right? He's just looking over. But like, you don't see anyone going into a boxing fight like that. Like, you'll see him like cover their head and all that, but Gordy will just do that and look at you, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, I've just been punched in the head. Oh no. Like, lads will cover up if they're on the ground or if they're getting hit. Like, they'll try and do that. But Gordy just goes to the corner when your man is like pandering to the crowd, and he just does that. I'm gonna start throwing down, and like you don't see that in like fucking MMA or anything like that. You know what I mean?
No, but I do think though, like what you're saying, you go to wrestling schools now. I think this is one of the first points you made, and I think it's like unbelievably relevant because, and this is where I thought like why Cornette and all annoys me, with their total misunderstanding of modern wrestling. I think is that thing of. Cornette talks about like modern wrestlers doing too much flips or whatever the fuck his thing is, right? But we now know because of UFC and stuff, what real shoot looks like with similar rules to pro wrestling.
Now we're getting to the crux of it.
Yeah? So we know all that now. And we know what submissions look like. And we know that if someone sticks on an armbar in real life, you're tapping like a motherfucker within 3 seconds because it feels like your elbow's going to come out the other
If
side.
you're getting a punch to the face,
you're on the ground.
you're probably getting knocked out.
Yeah, like we know all this, right? And he gives out about people high flying flips, whatever. But my point is that because of our knowledge of what MMA did to wrestling, wrestling had to evolve to become either more theatrical and more high flying and more theatrical isn't the right word, gymnastic-y. Like there had to be an evolution.
This is where I kind of disagree with you though.
No, I'm actually not saying. Let me get to the end of this point and it makes sense. It either had to evolve into that, away from real fighting, or it had to, and this is what I think, this is kind of what I wish would have happened, and I think you'll agree with me here, is it should have, in some ways, devolved back to the 80s style of the Mad Cells, the Dusty Roads, devolved back into that and allowed that to be the tropes of the genre.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. What I think Cornette is saying is, while MMA has like changed the perception of what people think as like fighting, because boxing you have very clear rules, you can just box.
Yeah.
But as you said, there's somewhat similarities between MMA. But what I think Cornette is saying is with the flips and that kind of stuff, they're being done without logic, because the actual power of wrestling is that it is a predetermined story being told. So if you do things like that, if you can do that, don't just do them. Tell a story. Like, you don't want to be reading a book and you're on a chapter and the main character fucking dies or something like that. Getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
And with that as well, not just a match, but the whole show has to tell a very clear narrative. So sometimes you have to be told, no, you can't do that. Yes, you should do that here. That works here. So it has to ebb and flow the whole way. And not only from that particular show narrative, then you have the whole fucking perspective of what story has been told over a matter of months. So you have these little stories in another story. It's just constant.
And then the overarching story.
Yeah. So everything has to make sense. And I think what he is alluding to is like, yeah, it's cool you did that, but like, I don't really care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's why a lot of the main eventers now, like, they don't do all that shit, but you connect with the character and you can connect with their matches.
That's why I tagged you in something in our Discord the other day. You didn't respond anyway, but
I probably was busy.
Maybe you were busy.
What was it?
I think that's why Kyle Fletcher is the best wrestler in the world at the moment. Is he, more than anyone, gets that idea of laying the groundwork at the start of a match and putting on that base layer,
Then having a payoff.
and then having the payoff later on in the match. Like, you could look at, I thought the Mike Bailey match on Dynamite this week was just like a work of art, and Bailey was great, but Fletcher was just like another level of this cocky champion who is like just so no matter what, like, but he lays the groundwork in the first 5 minutes of the cockiness and the getting out of the ring and the riling up the crowd and the getting them on side of the baby face, and then it just like snowballs into this thing that's like spiraling out of his control against this baby face that just won't fuck off, And it was the same if you go back to the Mox match in the semi-final of the Continental Classic in December, like that thing of early on as well. Because that was like, technically two heels going into the match, and Fletcher just laid the groundwork unbelievably in the first like 3-4 minutes, so that by the end of the match, when Mox is caught in the ankle lock, the crowd are just going ballistic for a guy that was the most hated person in the company 6, 7, 8 weeks earlier. But yeah, so it is those things, and I think you are right, and Cornette is right if in that sense of people are just blowing their load too quickly.
Spamming stuff.
Yeah, spamming stuff. Yeah,
like
yeah.
you look at it's over your head there. Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6. That's a fantastic wrestling match.
Well, like I got always my favorite Warrior match is the
Macho
Man retirement match.
right
That's
there
over
beside
there,
you.
right there. Like, and Warrior on a technical level isn't a good wrestler, but he brought a certain excitement in it. I know he's in the ring with Macho Man, who legit is one of the greatest in ring wrestlers ever.
Ricky Steamboat won't agree, but yeah.
Does Ricky Steamboat not rate Macho Man?
Basically, because their WrestleMania 3 match
Was plotted out.
was by numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, what? We're doing number 1 now. We're doing number 2 now. We're doing number 3. Whereas Steamboat and Flair could just go out and wrestle an hour without having talked about it before. So Ricky Steamboat doesn't rate that. Well, JBL was talking about it recently, and it's like it's perfectly legitimate to.
There's like, here's my thing with wrestling as well, is like, and I've always said this, there's no right or wrong. You know what I mean?
Wrestling can be anything.
It's what works and what doesn't. And unfortunately, the only way to know what is right and wrong is actually in hindsight, because the crowd will tell you what's right or wrong.
Yeah. I think it can be a bit hypocritical of me to kind of hit on, like, say, flips and all that kind of stuff, because I like gratuitous violence in my wrestling.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah. When
it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I remember being enamored with deathmatch wrestling for so long, and then it just became. Just doesn't. They're just smacking each other with shit.
Well, like, there's
whereas
also...
Mick Foley, like, people might say, "Oh, but your favorite wrestler is Mick Foley." Mick Foley is an unbelievable storyteller.
He's a genius.
He's
an
so
artist,
dynamic.
Like,
the way he, like, takes stuff, you can tell that the toll on his body, and that's the difference.
But like, the thing with Foley is, like, you watch a Foley match, every bump matters.
Yeah, that's the, like, he takes when he, like, takes the stairs and he does a flip over the stairs.
Massive.
Or he hits his leg off something when he's taking a bump. Like, little things like that. You're like, that looked like a fucking hurt. Probably because it did.
Yeah.
But it looked like it looked like a hurt.
That's why, And
but, like, you don't do that in real fighting. You don't fucking hip toss someone into
a chair or stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In real fighting. So, like, I just hate the way it has. It did influence wrestling so much in
how the style adapted.
Yeah.
Or
like how it's been taught.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Like, I think, like, losing out on that Dusty Rhodes type sell to the punches, or the way a guy would sell Dusty's punches into the elbow, like, that's all lost sauce now, you know what I mean? And like, some of that shit is fucking amazing.
But, like, so say in your play, people are acutely aware that this isn't a real life scenario.
Yes.
But they
play along.
They play along.
Yeah.
So, like, in wrestling, when you're being told things going, that's corny, that's stupid, that's bad, like, why is it that wrestling has that stigma with it?
That it has to be real?
Well, if you're sitting in the crowd with your mother, your brother, your sister, and your sister's kid, or whatever, right? All of them are in the crowd. And they can all sit there and watch the play for what it is.
A play.
It's like, and they can be unrealistic things or whatever.
Yeah.
But at wrestling, you have to cater to every single one of them with the variety of matches, and, like, you also can't turn people off it with, like, a corny fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like calling someone, doing the chicken chants and all that kind of shit. So what is it about wrestling that creates that stigma? That this simulated...
That's a fucking crazy question, because, like...
Because we're all acutely aware...
that what we're watching is
not real. And just like when we go to a play.
Yeah, and it's... but see, here's another thing, and this is something that I've been lamenting quite a lot recently, is the use of worked shoot storylines, particularly in WWE.
It's so weird.
It's fucking annoying me, because, like...
Is this the Jade Rhea shit? And
the Jade Rhea shit, even the Punk Roman shit, is it's like, it's keeping me at a distance, because I think, knowing particularly CM Punk, but also Roman has some form in telling some good fucking stories as well, in fairness to him, like, I think they can tell an unbelievably compelling story without having to dip into something that CM Punk said in the podcast 10 years ago and try and retro fucking fit that into a modern storyline. Because we all know, like, it's bullshit. And like, but why do we want to do like this?
Don't break the fourth wall.
Or yeah, like just tell us a compelling story without having to rely on, oh, some of this might be real.
Yeah.
Like, we know none of it is real.
But it's so weird.
We still know that when you go into the main event of WrestleMania, you're working together to put on a great match for us.
Yeah.
So why do we need to feel like the storyline build is real?
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, like Breaking Bad wouldn't have been if you were like, oh, well, Bryan Cranston really didn't like
fucking your man Jesse.
Yeah. Like, oh, they actually didn't like each other. Really.
Would that have helped the show one bit?
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
You know what? They're actually friends.
Yeah. Yes.
They're actually really, but like they had, like he was horrible to him. In you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I can separate that.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
And like, because it's really annoying me. WWE are, and you know when things went to shit for AEW a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
They were starting to do that at the time
but
as well.
Is this a contradiction though with us saying about Unreal? So WWE Unreal is like breaking the fourth wall.
But here's the thing about WWE.
Even though it's still scripted. But I'm
Yeah.
saying if we were to take it on legitimate face value and people are like, oh, they're exposing the business. Well, it doesn't really fucking matter. Like, they are actors. They are, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't, in this day and age, it doesn't matter if we know Cody and Roman are, like, is kayfabe still important then? If you're saying the real life stuff doesn't matter, is kayfabe still important?
To me, no.
Yeah.
I don't
But,
give
like,
a
we
shit
consume so much of the behind the scene. Like, as fans, we're still on dirt sheets. We're still, like, reading up about it. So why is that still so important to us?
Do you think if...
Like, occasionally I look at the IMDb trivia of a movie or whatever.
Yeah, but like, very rare. I used to when I was like 15. Like,
it doesn't fuck up my interpretation of the movie.
No.
Whereas if I read on e-wrestling news something happened behind the scenes, that might fuck up my perception of it in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, of what's on the screen.
I don't know. That I find that a very hard question to answer, and I don't know why I find it a hard question to answer.
It feels like we're like full of contradictions to a degree. Going, this is what we want.
Yeah,
and
like we are though.
But this is
because
why wrestling
the business is full of contradictions.
But this is why wrestling is so hard. It like to please everyone.
Yeah.
I'm literally just realizing it now because we don't genuinely really know what we want. All we want is a good story to be told on TV. Is that the crux?
That's the crux of it. All I want is a story that I can get lost in. Like, what stories am I currently lost in wrestling? There's very fucking few.
Probably some fucking Lee Moriarty or Ring of Honor Pure.
No, the only one that's...
MJF Hangman?
Yeah, MJF Hangman is the only one that I'm super... because they've done something in there, again, that's like... It's something brave with the potential of Hangman at his age, at his stature within the company and his connection with the audience, potentially never been able to challenge for the world title again. By the time this is released, we'll know. But like...
We all got lost in the Bloodline Cody story.
Some of that, yeah. But the weird thing about that was so... Like, I think that's really weird because Cody really didn't have a whole lot to do with the Bloodline until the 11th hour. So I wonder how much of it we were lost in the... I think a lot... My connection, because I wasn't a huge fan of the Bloodline story.
Yeah.
But I was definitely invested in Cody finishing the story. And that's to do with like a whole lifetime of watching wrestling and Dusty and, you know, all that kind of thing. So there was a lot more going on. My real enjoyment of... I thought a lot of the Bloodline was kind of shit, to be perfectly honest. And I know I might get slated for that until... Sami Zayn became one of the main focuses of it.
Yeah.
I thought he was just tremendous in that. And I was totally invested in when they turned on him at the Royal Rumble. I think that was the Royal Rumble, wasn't it? And then they had the match.
He saved Kevin.
That was the end of the Royal Rumble.
And then had the match at No Way Out or whatever.
Whatever that mid-show.
Elimination Chamber, sorry.
And that was in Canada.
Yeah.
Like I was totally invested in that. And then I carried that investment into Cody finishing the story.
Yeah.
But like again, Cody finishing the story didn't need to be like a big work shoot thing. It just happened to have a really nice real life element of this is a title my father never won,
which was still based in like old school wrestling.
It's based in old school wrestling and it's based in universe.
Yeah.
And then other part of that story is I went somewhere else and created a new company. And my first opportunity at the title disqualified me from ever holding that title again. Yeah. And I've never been a world champion in a top tier company. Like, you know, a major league, like Ring of Honor, like as much, like I love Ring of Honor as much as the next man, particularly certain eras of Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor world title is never
as prestigious.
Yeah. So Cody's story then became this thing of, I am a top tier wrestler.
But it felt like old school wrestling.
Yes.
It felt like old school wrestling, which is like, for the love that we have for the Attitude Era, and getting back to this whole, the topic of conversation being how MMA influenced it, like the 90s had a different feel to it. And like UFC came about in the 90s. It was a bit more grittier. ECW, of course, adopted certain shit from like this underground feel to it, this underground fight feel to it. And then we got the Attitude Era.
Counterculture.
Counterculture. That's what MMA felt like.
Yeah.
Felt like proper counterculture.
Look at it now, it's just
sanitized
totally
shit,
sanitized
like.
shit, and the cards are shit. And like, you know, I'm a MMA fan for 22 years probably now. I watch not every card, but almost every card.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking had Pride DVDs out the wazoo years ago.
But what I'm trying to get is that, like, for a time period, it seemed to have a great influence on it.
What's the best thing that came out of MMA? I know the answer.
The best thing that came out of MMA?
Into wrestling.
I don't know.
The tap out.
Yeah?
I think so. Because do you ever go back and watch like
no one taps out. It was like, it's a verbal...
It's a verbal thing, and it kind of...
there's no visual element.
There's no visual element.
That's a really good point.
The tap out being a visual submission is fucking awesome for wrestling, I think. Because I can't remember what match I was watching. Oh, you know, I'm doing this project of the Top 100 thing, nerd project. And so I've been watching a shitload. Like, you know, I'm trying to fill in some of my blanks, we'll say, you know, of periods of wrestling that I haven't never really watched a whole lot of. So I'm watching a lot of new shit to me that is, a lot of it is fucking excellent. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, the world of wrestling is unbelievably deep. But I was watching something from the 80s and somebody submitted. And it was just like a total anticlimax. Yeah. I was like, how did you get submissions over before the tap out? Like, you know?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, then I was watching Kurt Angle and I think with Shawn Michaels recently. And Shawn is like, you know, doing that, will he tap one again? I was like, that's drama. That's fucking drama right there.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Thank you. No problem. I was thinking of my interest in MMA. And it really kind of came about like when the characters started getting showcased more. And like the stories of it. Like I remember when Wanderlei Silva, the Axe
when he came over to the UFC.
Yeah.
Like
I remember being hyped for Crow Cop.
Yeah.
I remember Rampage and Chuck Liddell.
Oh, when Rampage showed up, like, but like,
these are all characters, and these
such characters,
and there were proper stories. To it. Like that's where. So what I wanted to ask is, while we did highlight the crossover of certain aspects of wrestling and MMA, like, why do you think there was such like a lot of people seem to think that they were the same audience, whereas Vince, to his credit, came out and said, like, no, we're competing with like movies and stuff. We're not actually genuinely competing with UFC. Like, do you think a certain portion of the wrestling audience was lost to MMA?
I think so, yeah.
And by proxy, because the MMA fans, like diehards, thought wrestling was fucking weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thought it was a lot of fake bullshit.
Yeah.
So like the crossover appeal from UFC to wrestling, no, it was probably more for people that just loved kind of fighting and was like, wrestling is shit. But like, do you think the wrestling audience accepted MMA? Well, they did accept MMA a lot more, but
I think there's two things related to that. One being when Raw was on Spike, and
Tough Enough was after.
Yeah, or not Tough Enough.
Not
the
Ultimate Fighter. That's what I meant to say earlier.
Ultimate Fighter was straight after, and that was huge in the early days of the Ultimate Fighter, because they would get the runover audience from Raw into that,
and you'd have Ken Shamrock.
Yeah.
Like a former WWE guy
there straight away, you know, as one of the coaches. And then also the way Tough Enough...
I said Tough Enough earlier. I want to retract that statement. I meant the Ultimate Fighter.
And then... But the thing about the Ultimate Fighter, it was quite pro wrestling-y in that It's like a pro wrestling reality show, and we lock a bunch of these characters into a house, and we just fucking see what happens.
Let them get drunk.
Yeah, it's all these storylines, like wrestling storylines are popping off over who's fucking tougher or whatever. So I think a certain, maybe not like a huge number, but I do think a certain element of the fan base was siphoned off into UFC at that stage.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like massively significant.
But like noticed it. Do you remember the Wrestling Mania shop in Stevens' Green in Dublin?
They started selling.
They started selling MMA shit. We talked about the Wrestling Channel and the Fight Network.
Start
doing MMA events and shit. And I remember as like a wrestling fan going, this
not my thing.
No.
But I do think a certain element of the fan base was siphoned off. And I think partially, and it's not just the Spike thing in America or whatever, but I think some of it was to do with as well is when we got to, say, the John Cena era, right? There was a lot of fans that were kind of probably still clinging on from the Attitude Era who liked the grittier,
when we say grittier, like it is still, there's so much ridiculousness that is quintessentially pro wrestling within the Attitude Era.
Or look,
only choppy pee, like, you know.
The only part of the Attitude Era that was really gritty was actually the main event scene.
Even like, was it though? Because you had like
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, but Stone Cold coming out in a beer truck, fucking, you know,
Deadly.
or Stone Cold coming out with a gun, threatening to shoot Vince, and then Vince pissing himself.
And a bang 316.
Yeah, like that's
like,
hokey.
It's
that
kind
is
of
hokey,
hokey.
But like it's the shit that we remember.
But it was also the way it was framed. Like Stone Cold was framed as a beer drinking redneck badass
who hated his boss.
Right? You fast forward to John Cena. Were the angles any less hokey? Were some of the matches any less bloody? No. But just the presentation of Cena as this jorts wearing
all-conquering
hero, and then you compare that with the same time frame in UFC, which is Chuck Liddell, which is Rampage Jackson. They had more of the Stone Cold thing, personality about them.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, were people like me, say, right, who were like mad Stone Cold marks, like fucking insane Stone Cold marks, would they have been pulled more towards that UFC presentation in 05, 06, 07?
Proper badasses instead of
superhero characters. Yeah, that's, you know what I mean. Not how, like, because the hokey shit was still there, and like even some of Cena's matches were fucking bloodier than Stone Cold Rock.
The Quit match with JBL
and the Omega match. Loads of shit there. But it's just, it was a different character, like the type of
cheerleading squad.
Yeah.
That got covered in poop.
Yeah,
DX.
So I'm wondering, did a certain element of that fan base who were
but that probably would have worked. That would have worked in like the Attitude Era as well. You know what I mean?
Oh, it would have.
It was just the presentation of it. Yes. It looked too clean.
It was too, and we say that today. Like I watched one of the reasons, and I know people think I hate WWE and anti-WWE. I grew up watching fucking WWE, but like when I watch it today, it's almost like, in some way, like a lot of modern films with like everything is LED.
Yeah.
Everything is bright and
but
clean.
Like we're a legitimate sport. The presentation of it is somewhat like, this is a legitimate sport. To a degree. I find that weird.
Because it's not.
It's not, like, you know what I mean?
And it doesn't look like one.
Yeah.
Like, if I watch any other sport in the world...
I used to fucking hate those press conferences.
Oh, my God.
They were so, like...
awful.
Dumb. Because some of them, they're kind of half kayfabe, not kayfabe, and you're like, just fucking present your shit as your shit.
That was Triple H trying to be
Dana White. Yeah, that's what I mean by the sports presentation.
But also, the thing with Dana White was... Dana would field a difficult question from a legitimate reporter, and he would tell that reporter, "You're a fucking idiot, go fuck yourself," right? And then, even now, you watch an MMA press conference with Dana White after a show, it's like WWE now, it's just a load of influencers there. There's no fucking legitimate reporters anymore. Dana's in his element. But go back 10 years, he'd have told a reporter asking him a difficult question, "Fuck you, you idiot." And like the reporter's 100% in the right.
Yeah.
Right? But when Triple H got asked that 1 or 2 times, he got asked a difficult question about the Janelle Grant lawsuit or whatever it was, he would bumble around like a stuttering fuck, to the point where what they did then was they made that panel show where he would have his own fucking Pete Rosenbergs and them.
With the crowd behind him.
And then the crowders started chanting AEW. So what does he do at the last pay-per-view? He gets interviewed backstage by one of their in-house interviewers.
Really?
With no crowd. Yeah. He's like, this thing of like, but with press conferences like that, and to take a shot at AEW here as well, they tried to do a press conference at the end of Dynamite the other night with MJF and Hangman, and it was shit. It was shit. Like, it was a kayfabe press conference. It was shit. And that was the go-home angle for a match that I'm tremendously interested in.
But then again, like, we have, once again, a contradiction. I think we have pretty much said, like, treat it as if it is a fight as well.
Yeah, I know. And, like, but see...
Wrestling's so weird.
It is weird. Yeah, we're full of contradictions because, again, like, part of the problem is wrestling doesn't even know what it is. Like, it's a contradiction in and of itself.
We talked about like the canon of wrestling is just, it's absurd. Like, how can this exist in a world with this?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, and I don't know if it can ever really find the right balance of.
I think it can though. All it needs is like a proper consistent logic of stuff, like reasons that cameras are there. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, AEW started doing that really well
but
recently.
Even though like that's also more of a sports presentation, it's not like we're filming
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know, yeah.
But like you're not having Hornswoggle running through a fucking wall.
No.
Like you did, and then Carlito tries to run through the wall and he hits his head. Like a dumb fuck.
That was funny though.
But then again, like, can you have... Well, I always thought about The Undertaker, same as Dunphy is, like, he had he knew the lighting guy,
Yeah, he's buddies. Yeah, I suppose you kind of create logic for yourself in the absence of,
Well, when we talk about plays and suspending disbelief for plays, like, you have to do that with wrestling as well. I just remember being particularly irked by the Firefly Funhouse, and in the same show, Brock Lesnar's up against Drew McIntyre. And I'm like, I can't really take this seriously because you've just, like...
Presented this. I felt differently about that. And I know we've had this discussion numerous times. I like the Firefly Funhouse. Yeah. Because maybe whatever way I framed the logic in my own mind...
There was no logic to it, though.
But that's what I mean. In the absence of logic, you create your own. So I might have created my own logic.
Like me with the Irish Whip.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, you came up with a whole fucking reasoning. I never thought about the Irish Whip.
Yeah.
It never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Until years later, when I was maybe 21 or 22.
Like, this is dumb.
And I seen somebody like make the point, to do the Irish Whip, and I was like, oh yeah. I just accepted it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of things with wrestling is, if you just fucking accept it, like, just accept it.
We don't. We have a whole podcast about it, talking about it. But we talk about, like...
We talk about everything.
The stories more so.
Yeah. And no, when you floated this... topic with me, I was kind of confused. I was like, I don't even know what we're going to talk about here. But I guess we've gotten into a whole bigger philosophical, and it's not a debate. Well, it is a debate, but me and you are on the same side.
I don't know if we are though, because we're contradicting ourselves.
No, that's what we're against ourselves.
Yeah,
because we've both flip-flopped sides.
We have inner turmoil and conflict.
Yeah, like we've both
like a Triple H booking a faction.
Or Triple H booking a fucking wrestling show.
It's what we do.
Or Triple H trying to book a WrestleMania. Just make up your mind and fucking stick with it.
I think it's mad where they're like, punches, they all have to look good and they all have to look real. And then you're like, yeah, but also 6 lads are standing on the outside waiting for someone to jump on top of them.
Yeah.
So...
In 7 minutes' time.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, you
can
do a little jelly leg sell and get the bionic elbow, which would be fine.
Yeah.
Because you're throwing the suspension of disbelief out the window with something else later on.
Yeah.
But it's just that looks cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But so does the jelly legs and the bionic elbow.
Yeah, they look fun.
That looks fucking cool. Like, I've been watching loads of Jerry Lawler, and you couldn't do that shit in the modern day because people would say it's hokey. But at the same time, I'm watching it and I'm like, man, this is fucking awesome. Like, why can't we do that?
Yeah, we remember Scott Hall's sell of the
Stunner.
The Stunner.
Yeah.
The Stunner is inherently a dumb move.
It's a ridiculous move.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stone Cold used to throw potatoes because he wanted his punches to look real. I was like, yeah, but you're also grabbing a guy.
Terry Funk.
You know what I mean?
Box you in the face.
Yeah. Terry Gordy.
Yeah.
You know?
And like, but there is a balance of like, you can still do dumb shit in wrestling. That's why it's there, like, you know. Like, it doesn't need to be taken.
I seen a really cool cell there the other day. It was in AEW, Andrade against a dude. It could have been Andrade or Roosh or someone. And Roosh sleeps him. Like, dives at his feet.
Sorry, yeah, it was Roosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your man jumps over him. And then he comes back and Roosh leaps him. And your man gets caught by Roosh's
trailing
leg.
Yeah.
Gets up and takes a drop kick straight to the face.
Yeah,
and I was like, that's really cool. That's fucking...
That obviously wasn't the planned spot.
I was looking at it and going, it could have been.
Could have been, but even if it
done
wasn't,
so well.
they both adapted
Yeah.
and made it look fucking deadly.
Yeah.
I know the spot you're on.
Made it look real.
Yeah.
Like, the people slagging off Gunter for tripping over...
Like that, but that used to be a common spot.
It's a great spot. And you see, I'll see a lot of lads on the Irish scene still do it.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh shit, he's tripped me.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's meant to do. People don't know.
No, yeah,
so
people
what
don't
do
even
people
fucking
think
know.
of beforehand?
Well, I'm just jumping over them. Or he's just
I'm just jumping down.
Jumping down.
Exactly.
Yeah. When we saw the Andrade thing, or not the Andrade thing, the Gunter thing, we were like, oh, at least somebody's still doing it. But then you have fucking idiots on the internet going, oh, they made a mistake. Like, are you fucking stupid?
What did you think it was meant to happen? So, like, it's the wrestling is just a walking contradiction.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Because people were like, oh, wrestling's fake or whatever. But, oh, yeah, the guy's just going to drop down and the other guy's going to jump over. And we all just accept that as, oh, that's the thing to do in wrestling.
Yeah.
But no one's ever gone, but why
is he jumping
Why
down?
are they doing
why
that in
didn't he
wrestling?
just stand over there?
Yeah.
He could just stand over there.
And there's so much rules in wrestling that can be exploited. Like, I used to hate when Big Show's finisher was the WMD.
The punch, yeah.
Because
you're supposed to be open handed.
You're not allowed to punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or at least the referee has to give an infraction and go, hey, do that again now. And he's like, well,
a warning.
Well, I don't need it.
Because I've been watching a lot of 80s All Japan Women's with Don Matsumoto and all them. And all the commentary's in Japanese, like. But I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah.
Every match devolves into, like, absolute carnage. And, like, they're punching I'm like... It's like, I've just had to accept that, like... I don't know, it's the ref's discretion or whatever. Because the matches are badass. But also, like... They're like I don't know the rules, and yet they're hitting each other with weapons, and it doesn't appear to be a no DQ match.
What do you think of when Angle was having discussions with Vince, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm coming in, but I can never lose." Vince is like, "This is pro wrestling, man. You're going to fucking lose."
Everyone loses.
I like maybe a lot of shoe fighters have that kind of.
Goldberg had that thing as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he kind of had like he had a massive love for MMA. Like Punk had a big love for MMA, and we seen what happened there. You know, he got his ass handed to him, and now he's like the top of your company.
The funny thing about Punk getting his ass handed to him was like, he got his ass handed to him by Mickey Gall, who Mickey Gall is, a pro fighter. But then when they brought Punk back for the second match,
Michael Jackson,
they put him in against Michael Jackson. Not
not
he. But Mike Jackson is an MMA journalist who does some part-time training.
Yeah,
like he's not a legit pro fighter, like, you know, and he'd tell you that himself. He's a very, very good part-time fighter, but he's not a legit pro fighter. And they said, sure, look, we'll get Mike Jackson in, give him a bit of a contract, and we'll put him in with Punk. And sure, like, Jesus, surely Punk could beat this lad. He couldn't, like.
Well, no, he drew with him officially.
I don't think it was a draw, was it?
I think they threw it out or something. Yeah, the win.
Was it no contest or something?
Yeah, he failed something.
Maybe he did, yeah.
Quickly before we wrap up, because you want to go for points.
Yeah, I'm going for points.
You're going for points. I took you away from points.
I had a big week on stage, and now I'm going to celebrate.
You working tomorrow?
Doing a little bit of work tomorrow.
Take it off. Take it handy.
Well, I'll do a bit. I'm a workaholic, an addict.
I'm worried about it. I want All Elite Morro back, though.
All Elite Morro's coming back.
Yeah.
The play's over next Saturday.
Yeah. Just have a look at certain wrestlers who made the transition to MMA, because we touched upon CM Punk.
Yeah.
There's always seems to be a love for it. There was talk of Angle possibly joining him around the TNA time.
He was cooked as fuck. It would have been a disaster.
Lesnar,
he'd gone 10 years earlier.
Lesnar was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, he lost a lot of fights. He lost to Mark Hunt, even though that one was thrown out.
No, he beat Mark Hunt, but it was thrown out.
Sorry. Overeem.
Overeem killed him.
I remember watching that over in Australia. That was the diverticulitis.
That was diverticulitis. Yeah.
Frank Mir beat him in the first one.
And then Brock got the win back.
He beat Mir, he beat Couture, he beat Heath Herring.
Shane Carwin.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Lost to
Ken
Velasquez.
Yeah.
And they brought that into WWE.
That was terrible.
Stupid.
Yeah. But Ken Velasquez is legit, in my opinion, probably one of the top 5 heavyweights in the history of MMA. So no shame. Lashley
undefeated, is he?
Is he I don't know. Yeah. Now, Lashley obviously didn't fight fighters at the level that Brock did.
Yeah.
But still very impressive. Same with Batista. But I think
Batista had one fight, and he was against a fat guy.
Yeah, but I think Batista did it kind of the right way. There was no super ego, and he didn't force his way into UFC. And he just took a regional kind of MMA fight, and was like, cool. I enjoyed that.
Done that now.
We've done that.
I wanted to see if I could, and I did. Jake Hager.
Again, kind of.
Do you remember his match with Wardlow on Dynamite or something?
Yeah, I remember that. And it was like the Dragon's Den,
like a fight pit thing.
Yeah, it was like what they did with
Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn, was it?
Yeah.
Owen Hart was
in one. Yeah, I remember that one. That was with Ken Shamrock, was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it Blackman?
Couldn't Blackman.
He did the Wardlow one. That wasn't very good.
Yeah, like it's not needed. Like a lot of these fighters, like Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey.
Well, Baszler and Rousey were legit fighters beforehand. Then should you go back to 90s and
Nakamura had a few proper fights, didn't he?
Yeah, and Jesus, we could do a whole fucking podcast on that era of New Japan. Yuji Nagata.
Actually, this is what I wanted to touch upon. Sorry, before we go off topic. The influence of MMA been brought into. We talked about Karl Gotch, the Snake Pit, going over
Billy
with
Robinson.
Maeda. Yeah, with Maeda and Inoki teaching them, and then we get Strong Style.
Yeah.
And actually, Strong Style being awesome to watch, but seemingly so detrimental to the performers themselves.
Yeah, now that's a weird one, right? Because, I don't understand how it's so detrimental.
It's so hard-hitting.
Yeah. In that sense, I get that part. But, how is it their knees are always gone? Because you associate with knees getting fucked with more high-flying thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, Tanahashi's knees were from doing 25 years of a fucking frog splash and taking the brunt on your knees.
But, you look at Tanahashi, you look
Naito.
at Ibushi, you look at Naito, they
Rocks
all...
to a man.
Where fucking Nakamura seems to be moving
Shibata.
all right.
Fucking
Shibata
Shibata
as well. Like they're taking. You look at what happened to Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Danielson
they're all having proper fucking problems with their neck, concussions, that kind of.
Yeah.
And so the influence of MMA on the actual wrestling industry for the workers has been quite detrimental and possible.
Very possible, yeah. And we don't know how things would have developed otherwise.
Whereas you look at the Miz.
But you look at Dynamite Kid as well. He was an early prototype. Him and Satoru Sayama
of a shoot style.
The original Tiger Mask of high-paced, hard-hitting. And he was crocked as well, And I think, you had Meltzer for years going on about, Will Ospreay is going to be fucked by the time he's whatever age because he's doing this really fast-paced, high-flying thing. Because that's the way he thought Dynamite Kid ended up like that. But I think a lot of Dynamite Kid's thing was actually from the really fucking hard-hitting part of it rather than the actual high-flying part, But I suppose, you have a fair point there with all those New Japan guys who stuck around for a long time. But also, I'm doing this thing now, it's well in the future, I don't have it fully mapped out yet, but looking at homegrown talent across AEW, New Japan and WWE, the three that I'm kind of focusing on are Dom, Hook, and Ulton Bowleg. Bolton Oleg. And had their various progression, right? And Dom debuted in 2020. He's had 350 matches in the 6 years since then. Bolton Oleg debuted in 2023. He's had the same amount of matches as Dom in half the time. Yeah. And Hook debuted in 2021. He's had less than 100 matches. But I think a part of why a lot of those New Japan guys get so fucked up is because those guys work way more matches than what WWE do currently. Because with they're not doing the house show circuit anymore. Whereas in New Japan, you're doing could be 20 touring dates a month, like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that could be because look at Minoru Suzuki, who's worked that style for decades, and he's fucking grand.
Was there? I can't remember your man's name. He's in Japan. One of the, I think he's a European wrestler, maybe Russian.
Volkan.
Yeah. Was that kind of MMA?
He very much, yeah. Like actually, Volkan, I think, in my opinion, anyway, he only had like 70 or 80 wrestling matches, but in terms of shoot style pro wrestling, some of his matches are fucking amazing.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people like being incredibly. I've only watched like snippets of him.
Yeah,
but I heard like a lot of people are saying like, did he do it right or?
Yeah, if you're into the shoot style of pro wrestling, he might be the best. Like he's had matches with Maeda and all them, with Takada, I think even like Suzuki and all. His way, yeah, he was very exciting in what my personal opinion isn't a super exciting style of wrestling. But Volkan is, yeah. If you want to check out some shoot style, type in VOLK space HAN versus into your YouTube. He's fucking badass. He's another one of these like Kazakh kind of Dagestani dudes who are just total badasses. But he got like the pro wrestling thing, like us.
Total badass Irish dudes in our little wrestling room. We wrap it up. You go for your pints?
I go for my pints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy OTT shenanigans?
I really enjoyed shenanigans. Yeah, I thought the Frankie Trent match was just tremendous fun. I'm loving the BDE storyline at the minute. I don't want any spoilers on what happened last night. And yeah, things are looking good there in OTT. I think things are heating up.
Yeah, go check out OTC On Demand. It was like an episode of Raw last night, but like a good one.
Good, yeah. Old school, good cracker. Yeah, no, that'll probably be out Monday, Tuesday.
It'll probably be out tonight.
Fucking sick.
No, Matthew Macklin.
Yeah, he's quick on the turnaround.
He is.
Yeah, that was one I really wanted to be at live because I thought the card was class.
Yeah, it was.
I wanted to see Manders.
It was a really good show. It's a shame about your man being hit by a car, but like.
Yeah, but sure. Look, you know, he returned in a raw
thunderous applause.
In his underpants.
This has been the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. Please like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching and supporting the channel. The last video did really good.
Yeah, insane.
Despite it having gherkins.
Yeah, gherkins was in it.
And despite the bad video quality.
Yeah, it did really well.
Yeah, and not many clips, only 2.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, no, we've built a really nice community. Thank you very much. Sound off in the Discord. The link is below to the Discord. I'm going to try and get this up as soon as possible. While you're sipping pints, I'm sipping...
You know what? When I come back for me pints tonight, I might even be able to watch it.
There you go. Make sure... Here, comment underneath if you do.
I will. I'll do exactly that.
This has been the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show on the Big Beefy Boy Shaz Beef. This is my fellow Opa again, Morro. Ooh, stay safe, stay sane. Good luck.
Nice. That was good.
That was a fun chat, wasn't it?
That was a fun chat. Good energy to it. Right, sure, I'm going to go for me pints, so.
Do.
I'll see you during the week, I suppose.
Yeah, nice one, man. I appreciate you calling up.
Yeah, no bother, mate.